ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another live stream Saturday. I hope your weekend has started well, and I'm going to get you guys up on screen instantly to see who is in the live chat room tonight. We have Chris and Jennifer and Bob and Charlie, Carla, Lauralee, Brian, Patrick and Steve, Francis as well, Bev, Lisa, Teresa, Paul, Maynard, James, Lewis and Corey. Hello everybody in that live chat room. Thank you for joining me on this Saturday night. And here in the UK, we are unaffected so far by the clocks changing. I think that's happening in 2 hours where they go forward, which I think means that you lose an hour in bed or something like that, because it will be like 9 instead of 8. But I always get a bit confused with the timings and when the clocks do change. So thankfully they've stayed the same at the moment, but we will see. Hopefully it won't affect anything in the future. Anyway, hello to all of you guys in that live chat room tonight. Let me get the names of my patrons up on screen as well, because they make this possible in the first place, and a huge shout out to them. I want to make sure that it goes across the screen in the right order, starting with the sponsored by the Wings of Pegasus patrons. I think it says something like that. And there it goes. So a huge thank you to you. You know who you are. These people make everything that I do possible on the channel, and their names always go across the bottom of the screen during the live streams. Right. Let's get everything organised. You might remember in the last live stream, because of my bad arm, I had everything organised on my keyboard, pressing, well, I say organised, I managed to press the right keys at the right times pretty much most of the time, but now I'm back to the mouse because we have had a bit of a development with my arm, but I'll get into that in a minute. Let me get everything organised on the screen first. We'll have a look at the likes goal for tonight being set at 330 likes. And at the moment we are at 158. So thank you guys for hitting that thumbs up. If you can leave a like as you come through the door, that would be much appreciated to get ourselves closer to our target of 330 up there, to have a pick roulette next week, because that's what we do when we hit those targets. We give away a pick, and we're giving away a book, and we'll be doing that later on tonight as well. This is Phil Palmer's book Session Man, which we are giving away at the moment. And there's a rollover, because in the last live stream you have to be in it to win it. As I always say, you have to be in the live chat room in order to pick up the prize of the roulette. So we didn't have that on Tuesday, so it rolls over to today, which means that we still have another 2 books after tonight's to give away. So this is it. If you are entering the book roulette and the pick roulette and the t-shirt roulette, make sure you are in the live chat room when the roulette happens, so that we can get your details from you and send you your prize. So that'll be happening later on with the standard pick roulette, because we did hit the target last week, so we'll be having that tonight. If you are new to the live streams, hello to you. Introduce yourself to the live chat room. That's how we start here. Everybody starts off the same way, and then we just get to know each other. Right, tonight, we have a little bit of news on the channel as well, and I'll start with this, that next Thursday, I'm going to be having a chat with Chris Lipe, who is a vocal coach here on YouTube, and I've been watching his channel for probably a couple of years, but it'll be great to have a chat with him about vocals, probably a bit about auto-tune and pitch correction, all that kind of stuff. But this is something that was only organised yesterday, so yeah, hot off the press that I'll be chatting to Chris, and yeah, it's great if you can check out his channel and you get a vibe for what he does. He's an original artist, but a singer, a vocal coach, and he's great at breaking down the voice and explaining what's going on, and he's great at showing you how to achieve the same sounds as other singers with your voice and all the different techniques that go into it. So yeah, it'd be great to pick his brains on Thursday, and I'll stick a video together from that footage in order to have Chris on the channel here, and I'll let you guys know exactly what's happening and when a video will be out about that. As always, head over to patreon.com/Wings of Pegasus in order to be in the loop and just hear about any news as and when it happens, because that's where I update everybody on what is going on. Even on my admin days, I'll let everybody know as to what's going on. But that's where you need to go in order to be up to date with everything. And by the way, quick plug of the website, wingsofpegasus.com. Pretty self-explanatory, but wingsofpegasus.com/music if you want to go to my album or download tracks individually. Unwanted Stranger that we started tonight, live stream with, that's requested over on Patreon. So thank you guys for requesting that, and that is on my album called Persistence, which you can get at wingsofpegasus.com. So let's get rid of that, and I will be addressing the donations, so thank you guys for those that came through before we went live. And just quickly, we have had a few, which I'll go through now. Just before we went live, Orlando donated $2. Thank you for that, and says, rest in peace, Taylor Hawkins, drummer, Foo Fighters, with a heart. So thank you for that, Orlando. I think there might be a couple or a few messages like this, following the sad news that Taylor passed away. And this is, it's strange because, he was only 50, and currently The Warning, who are friends of the channel, are touring with the Foo Fighters, and they had on their Instagram just, Taylor in the background, where, Dave Grohl came over and said hi to the girls. And it's just really strange that a few days later that he has moved on, and we haven't had any news here, at least on mainstream news in the UK, as to what the cause of death was. So I'm not going to comment about that, but very sad news, and we'll probably find out more in the future. Unfortunately, I don't have time to keep up with lots of things on the news because of what I do just day to day here, but I'm sure that I'll be able to get more details on that. But anyway, thank you, Orlando, for that donation. And Paul donated $2 as well. Thank you for that, Paul. And the message is, please spike the likes. Orlando's back up. So thank you for that. And we always have a plug on the mug when Orlando donates, but then also when Paul donates. So if you want to get your hand on any, or your hands, or a single hand like I'm doing here, on any of the merchandise, then check out the tray underneath this video, or the link in the description below, which is spring.com. That will take you through to the store where you can get yourselves the hoodies, the t-shirt. I actually have on the t-shirt tonight. I'm not always wearing the t-shirt, but it just so happens that it seems to have coincided with tonight's live stream, so you'll be able to get your hands on such merchandise that I'm wearing tonight. So thank you for that, Paul. And Rocker Girl donated $1.99. Thank you for that. And then $1.99 again, saying rest in peace, Taylor Hawkins. So thank you for that. Jennifer then donated $10. Thank you, Jennifer. And the message is, Phil, have you ever met or worked with any of the session people Phil mentions in his book? And being a session guy sounds like a crazy life. So thank you for that. And myself and Phil are different generations. So I think Phil had his first band in probably the mid-60s, something like that. And then towards the late 70s was doing a bit of session work, and then especially in the 80s and the 90s. So unfortunately in the 80s, I was still in junior school. So I wouldn't have been able to join in or meet any of the people that Phil played with, and they are very much a different generation to me now. But I think even if they were of a similar generation, I'm not really a session musician. I'm an original musician, so I have my own album, and I wrote my own songs and sang all of the songs, recorded them all myself, played the guitar, all that kind of stuff. So with session musicians, people come to you. I've done a very small amount of session work in the past, but it's literally been just the odd song here or there, not something that made up my employment. It was just something that I did on the side of like teaching, or a songwriter for Universal, for example, that I knew needed me to play a little bit of guitar on a particular track when it was being presented to the label, and also do guide vocals, that kind of thing, for a song that's then being taken to another artist. So I've only done a little bit of that, and that wasn't my main employment. It was just something on the side that I did. So I'm not a session musician, so I'm not really in those circles of session musicians, but they are a huge part of the industry, and especially when you go back to the 60s and the 70s, where a lot of session musicians played out of the big studios on so many of the hits, and you even had bands that were just pretty much the same session musicians all the time playing live, but then in the studio, and everyone will know, well, you might not know the Wrecking Crew, but they played on so many of the hits back in the day. But yeah, not really my circle, the session work, more kind of independent original work that I do. But anyway, thank you for that, Jennifer. And another donation came in from Jennifer for $5 again. Thank you for that. And the message is, oh, by the way, can you explain how you can have a guitar that is electric and acoustic? Phil mentions one. Thanks. This is really simple to explain. That you can have the pickups inside the acoustic guitar, and it's called an electroacoustic guitar or a semi-acoustic guitar, meaning that you can plug it into an amp. So you can plug your jack into your acoustic guitar, and because of the design of the acoustic guitar with the body, it means that you can take out your jack from the guitar and play it acoustically, but you can also play it plugging it into an amp, and that is, yeah, just having the pickups inside the body of the acoustic guitar. So it's not particularly complicated. You can even put pickups over the top of your sound hole if you want to on your acoustic guitar, which you might see some people do as well. But yeah, it's quite simple. Anyway, thank you for that, Jennifer. And an electric guitar, of course, is just purely electric. If you play an electric guitar, acoustically, it's not going to make a lot of noise because the sound of the strings has got nowhere to go and be amplified. It's got no resonating chamber or resonance chamber. So when we talk, for example, the sound that you're hearing is due to my head and my skull being a resonance chamber. It just bounces around in your head. I know it's a bit weird to think about, but it's just the way that the human voice works, with the vocal cords then resonating in the head and it coming out the mouth and the nose. And if you try and think of the body of a guitar the same way, the strings are making the sound, but it's like the vocal cords are the strings, and it has to have somewhere to go to be amplified, and for it to have the resonance of the chamber of the head is the same as the resonance chamber of the body of an acoustic guitar. I'm hoping that this is making sense, but yeah, you can imagine that if the voice, and if there's just a stop that happened here, then the sound would just be really muffled because it's got nowhere to go. It's got to escape. It's got to, have this resonance chamber attached to it, which is the reason why a lot of, everybody's voice sounds different, because we look different, so our faces are literally different. And interestingly, sometimes when you see people that look alike, it's sometimes the case that great, I wouldn't say impersonators, but you could say if they're doing it as a full-time job, great impersonators sometimes look similar facially to the person that they are imitating, just because of the resonance chamber having similar qualities. But anyway, I mean, that's probably a scientific experiment in itself that you could start to really get into how the sound is being developed, and just the way that it's bouncing off the bones of the skull. So anyway, but thank you for that, Jennifer. That would be a very long video looking into that in that kind of detail. But thank you for that. And Jennifer donated again, $5, this time in the super chat window, which I think means we're now up to date. And the message was, Phil, can I ask what happened to the girl from Unwanted Stranger, or was that a no? Thanks. So thank you for that, Jennifer. And this was a song that was actually, I probably don't have permission. I would have to check on permission because it wasn't something to do with my life and relationship, but somebody that I know very well. So yes, it wasn't a song written from my direct experience. So yeah, I'm not going to mention anything behind that. So I'd have to get permission in order to explain about it, and I don't have that permission, so I'm just going to blurt it out live, because the person was saying, why are you telling that story on the live stream without checking first? So thank you for that, Jennifer, but not something directly to do with me, but very closely connected to me, so I can't mention anything about it, unfortunately. So thank you for those very early donations. I know that there were some on PayPal as well, which we will dive into because I do address all of the donations that come in on PayPal, whether it be on the live streams or between the live streams. And we did have an early donation at 9:15 tonight where Steve donated £5. So thank you for that, Steve. And let me get this up on screen so you can see. And let me just put this tab up on the screen so that you get a lay of the land. You don't have to donate. But if you find that you cannot resist the temptation, or you feel like you really want to donate, then just so you know that 35 to 45% goes to YouTube through the Super Chat window, and between 3 and 5% goes to PayPal through the PayPal window. So just to clear that up so you get a lay of the land. But thank you, Steve, for this. And the message that was attached to this was, let me scroll down to it. How do you select the correct strings for any given guitar? So thank you for that, Steve. And this is all personal preference. There's no such thing as correct strings for a particular guitar because it depends on the player. So say, for example, you've got smaller hands like I have. It means that you'll probably want to go for a lighter gauge of string. If you're starting to play the guitar, especially on an acoustic guitar, but if you're starting to play the guitar and you don't want to hurt your fingers too much, then go for a lighter gauge string on guitar. I always say try and go for 10s on acoustic guitar and 9s on electric guitar. You can even go to 8s on electric guitar. You can even go down to 7s if that's what you find more comfortable for your playing. But it might be the case that if you do have smaller hands, that if you go for 9s or 10s, and by the way, the higher the number of the high E string, the thicker the strings are, therefore the heavier they are, therefore the harder they are going to be to bend. So say that you want to play with lots of bends and you want to bend with vibrato and have control of it all. If you start putting 10s or 11s on your guitar and you've got small hands and you haven't quite got the strength to bend them, it means that you're now limiting yourself as to what you can play on your own guitar. And you'd think, well, quite rightly, why should I limit what I can do with my own playing? So yeah, I would definitely suggest that if you do struggle to bend the strings, then go for a lighter gauge so that you can start to do all the strings. And loads of blues players back in the day strung their guitars with 8s and 9s, but even 7s. So yeah, they used to use, actually, in fact, banjo strings on the high E string in order to make it easier to bend. So yeah, this was it. And then they started designing guitar strings that were a lighter gauge, and then they became a bit more mainstream. So I would say just go for the strings that you feel comfortable with, that open your playing to all of the techniques that you want to be able to play personally. So thank you for that, Steve. And just scrolling up, because Bonnie donated £12, oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, £12 and 34 pence at 10 this evening, earlier this evening. So thank you for this, Bonnie. And the message is, can't make it tonight, but y'all keep on rocking in the free world. So thank you for that, Bonnie. And for the donation, considering that Bonnie is going to be part of the catch-up crew later on tonight. Hello, Bonnie, if you're watching this in the future. And just a quick look at that likeometer, 269 at the moment. If you can leave a thumbs up, that would be much appreciated to get this live stream out there a little bit more. But for the channel to grow on the whole, while I mention about the channel growing on the whole, I think we've gone up another 1,000. So here it is up on screen, 248,000 subscribers. Amazing. Thank you for subscribing, everybody, and just hitting that thumbs up, commenting on the videos, requesting different artists and videos for me to take a look at, but just subscribing, hitting that notification bell, ticking the box, all of that kind of stuff to get notified for every video. It is massively appreciated. And dare I say, we are closing in on 250, but we take nothing for granted here. 248 is just amazing. So 288 or 48,000. So let's not miss off the 1,000 part of it. Anyway, let me get this off the screen. As if by magic, everything should stop. and then start again, and then stop. The crowd that accompany that number are always a bit random as to when they kick off and then when they stop. So anyway, that is that. Thank you, Bonnie, for that donation. And just going to scroll up because Tammy has donated £15 as well. And this was at 5 to 11 earlier this morning. Well, I'm going to say, technically I am right, because we are really early in the morning here. It's 24 minutes past midnight, which you can see on the clock on the top left. So I am technically correct saying earlier this morning, but it was so much earlier this morning that it was actually yesterday. So enough of the confusing timescales. Tammy donated £15, and I will say that came in at 10:54 earlier this evening. And it was a straight up donation, so thank you for that, Tammy. And we are now up to date pretty much with those donations. One did come in at 16 minutes past midnight during the live stream from Julie, who donated £3 and 63 pence. So we will continue looking at the donations, of course, as they come through. Thank you guys so much for these. And quickly, Stardust Unicorn, support band to Wings of Pegasus, have donated $1.49. And there's a picture of a burger there. So thank you for that. And this morning, I mean, we always start talking about food in the live streams. I partially blame the fact that it's usually about 5 or 6 hours after I've eaten, so I start to get a little bit hungry. And tonight was just bacon and egg, beans, a little bit of tomato, and a slice of toast. So it wasn't a full-on meal, and I don't generally have puddings or a sweet or whatever it's called wherever you are, but the sweet thing at the end of the meal, I don't really have. So it's just that meal, and then I do have a coffee. And a lot of people will say, why do you have a coffee in the evening? And generally because my coffee in the evening is probably the equivalent of somebody having it at maybe 12 or 1 in the afternoon, because I have my coffee at about 8, and then I go to bed at 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's about 10 hours, 9 or 10 hours after I've had the coffee, I go to bed. So it doesn't affect me because I'm up till the early hours, getting up to date with comments and emails and all that kind of stuff, and try and get as much of that done as possible. But thank you for that donation, Stardust Unicorn. Orlando donated $2 as well. Thank you for that, Orlando. Again, the message is, did you listen to grunge when it rose in the 90s? So thank you for that. And I did a little bit, but not too much. Probably just the mainstream bands that were in the charts at the time. For us in the UK, it was just Nirvana were huge, Pearl Jam as well. But in the 90s, I was still pretty much learning to play the guitar. Therefore, I was more into kind of blues guitarists, Eric Clapton, Stevie Ray Vaughan, all the ones that I've mentioned, Gary Moore. I think probably a bit of Steve Vai, Joe Satriani, those kind of players. I was leaning towards them in the 90s, and then I was getting into music that had already been in the 80s and started to get into late 70s as well. Eddie Van Halen, and just guitar players in general. And for me, Nirvana, I know that there were guitar solos in there, but it was something that I wasn't really into the guitar playing because I could already do it. So I wanted to try and learn stuff that I couldn't yet play, because the Nirvana stuff is all about, just being quite edgy with it, not really worrying about technique too much, and just playing melody, and more often than not just the main melody line of the vocal of the song. So for me, I kind of wanted to get into, I started with Jimi Hendrix, so that was already kind of advanced, and more advanced than I'd say a lot of the grunge guitar solos. So I tended to lean more towards that. Blues, rock, classic rock, hard rock, a little bit then metal, getting heavier. But anyway, thank you for that, Orlando. And Patrick has donated $5 as well. Thank you for that, Patrick. The message is, so Phil, now that you've looked at Karen Carpenter's and Patsy Cline's voice, what was the biggest surprise to you about their voices? So thank you for that. And I think I always have an idea in my mind as to what it's going to look like on screen, but what I was surprised by was their accuracy pitch-wise. And when I say that, I don't mean about hitting lines dead on, but their accuracy pitch-wise when you compare it with being in the studio, and the fact that they can be better in a live setup than actually in a studio. Because in a studio, you would imagine, and this is what I would have imagined, that you're in a controlled environment. You're like this. You're just in front of a microphone, and you'll have your headphones on, maybe just over one ear, so you can hear your voice with the other ear. And it is such a controlled environment that you would expect, or I would expect, somebody to be more vocally accurate than when they're singing live. Because live, you don't have headphones on. You're relying on hearing the song and the backing in the acoustic space that you're performing in, and you're relying on being able to hear your own voice that you need fold back. So the setup live is so much more of a random thing that you can't control as much. There are too many variables when you perform live to guarantee you're going to have a great vocal performance that is as good as the studio vocal. But when you're looking at singers like those two, you had a vocal that was as good as and better than the setup that tries to eliminate the variables of the voice and performing and being able to hear your own voice and hearing the band and all that kind of stuff. So that's what surprised me, that they were just that good live, that they might even have just an intrinsic sense of their voice that means they don't really need to hear it that clearly. They're just dialed in to the pitch of the particular song that they are singing. So yeah, that is what I did find surprising, even though I was expecting them to be really accurate. But even still, when you put into the equation that it was a live performance, that's where it's surprising just how accurate they were. But anyway, thank you for that, Patrick. And another donation has just come in from Nightshade1161 for $19.99. Thank you for that. The message is, just wanted to say hello and thank you so much for all you do. So thank you for that donation and message. No problem. I've always said I'll keep on doing videos as long as people are requesting them and find them interesting. I will keep on looking at them, and as I always say, the videos are sent to me. So sometimes when people say, oh, why did you choose this performance, it's because I was sent that, and it's always just an analysis to answer the questions or a question that somebody had about a particular performance, and then I make a video about it. So thank you for that donation. And Jennifer has donated $5. Thank you again, Jennifer. The message is, Phil, did you ever study voice or music when you were younger? Here in the US, they used to have band for youngsters and choir as well. Thanks. So again, thank you for that. And no, I didn't study music or the voice. I started singing when I was 28, 29, so it's like 10 years ago now. And I started from scratch learning to do that. So pretty much everything that I've learned about singing has been my own education of learning to do it from nothing and gradually building up all the techniques in order to then be able to control my voice and sing to a level that I thought was, acceptable for my own self to then listen to back. And I didn't think, oh, that sounds absolutely rubbish. I then thought, oh, I sound like now I'm hitting the notes how I want to hit them. So yes, with guitar and music in general, I started playing guitar when I was 11, and so pretty much that's been my musical journey. Started playing in bands when I was 19, also started getting into production when I was 19 as well. So it's just been that long, really. So yeah, almost 30 years of just listening to music, learning to play music by ear, and learning to play the guitar by ear, then teaching as well, which I started when I was 23. So yeah, that's been over 15 years, 17 years in total. So yeah, lots of, obviously teaching, you've got to learn a lot in order to teach people about, especially if they're looking to read music or try and write their own songs, all that kind of stuff. You need to at least have a basic knowledge of it. But pretty much with teaching, there were a lot of students that just wanted to play like a particular player. So that's then how I tried to teach them, to give them the techniques that they needed in order to achieve that, and then put their own spin on it. I think just learning to play with inspiration from different players, but then putting your own spin on it is a really important part of it, rather than just starting to sound exactly like another guitarist, because then people will say, oh, you sound like Slash, but you haven't got your own identity. So yeah, that is something that actually I see quite a lot of, especially on Instagram. Just people that are playing exactly like Slash, and they're just playing Guns N' Roses solos all the time. And yeah, I think it's really important to just get your own identity as well. I mean, it's great to play other people's solos, but, you know, write your own solos and write your own songs. Everybody's different. That's what I enjoy doing, is doing my own solos and doing my own songs, and just having something that people can, you know, get hold of and listen to my music. And very much for me as an artist, an independent artist, my focus is really just to get my music out there and to get my album out there and for people to listen to that and hopefully, fingers crossed, enjoy it. So anyway, thank you for the donations that have come in. We will address all of them before the end of the live stream, so don't worry about that. Right. Let me now get on track with the live stream. We are going to be looking at pictures as well. There's a vote, by the way, for tonight's cover video, and that vote is currently between Power of Love and You Know My Name. That was the other one. So I can see that Power of Love is the only one that I get to see because it's winning at the moment. It's got 57% of the vote. So make sure you click on that poll in order to choose the song for tonight. So anyway, quick arm update, because I've spoken with a physiotherapist and talked through everything that's happened. The fact that, yeah, it's been quite long. It's been quite drawn out. So I've spoken to a physiotherapist, and pretty much what I have is quite impressive, because I have got medial epicondylitis, which is damage to the tendon on the inside. But even better than that, I've got a bit of lateral epicondylitis, which is on the outside of the arm. So I've done the inside of the arm, I've done the outside of the arm. And what I didn't know is, and I'll tell you exactly how I figured this out, what I didn't know is I had a trapped nerve in my elbow. So it meant that every time I demonstrated with this arm, even though now with this arm I can move it up and down, because I didn't realize that I had a trapped nerve that every time I got to about 90 degrees and then went further, that is the point at which it was now trapping a nerve in my elbow. So it was really painful. So in order for me to extend my arm out straight, you can imagine that if I'm now trapping a nerve and I'm pressing on the nerve even harder, that's why I had my arm in a sling. The last live stream, I had my arm in a sling because it was holding it in at 90 degrees. Therefore, the nerve wasn't being crushed. Anyway, so I spoke to the physiotherapist, and I still didn't know that this is the situation in my arm. And then I was washing my face with both arms, and I got a shooting pain in my elbow going up my arm, and then my elbow cracked. And all of a sudden, my pain went down by about 60%. So, and this is another thing that some people said, oh, with, tendonitis or medial epicondylitis or lateral epicondylitis, which is called tennis elbow, and the inside is called golfer's elbow, but they said, oh, it might just be something that you've got to deal with, and I just wear a support and it really helps. But I thought the pain I was getting from having a trapped nerve was the epicondylitis, or the medial or the lateral. So I thought, I didn't really fancy putting up with that for the rest of my life and having to wear a support but having that pain. So it's actually a weight off my mind, because now I can see a light at the end of the tunnel, that the pain that I was going through was a trapped nerve, and I did have the injury to the tendon, but that was probably about 40% of the pain. The other 60% was the nerve getting crushed in the joint of me actually extending my arm. So that was great. Yes, so a short burst of pain, a crack in my elbow, and the nerve has obviously now gone back to where it should be, which is really good. So now I have, obviously I'm resting it because I do have the original injuries, which is great that I can now feel the actual tendon injuries and not the pain within the joint of the nerve. So I'm now using ibuprofen gel. That's what I've been told to rub on. I've got exercises that I've been sent by the physio to work through. But I did those yesterday, and I think I'm just going to take it really easy. I mean, and these are exercises of literally lifting your hand up with the other hand and then just relaxing it back down again. So really light exercises that I've got to start with, but I will be doing those over the next week or couple of weeks. But I can already feel that it's getting a little bit better now that I can feel where the actual injury is, and it's not that chronic, constant pain of the nerve, which I wasn't looking forward to that lasting. But now I know what it is. It's great that it's actually not as bad as I thought it was. So anyway, yeah, big thumbs up. The fact that I can now straighten my arm, and I mean, this is something rare, that I can actually have my arms down by my side. I could never do that when the nerve was in the wrong place, because my arm would not, it was just too painful getting past that point. So yeah, it's actually really nice just to be able to have my arm straight down. Once, you know, having 3 or 4 weeks of not being able to do that is actually quite, yeah, liberating. So yeah, the things that you take for granted. Right, so that was the arm update. So yeah, I won't, and I'm using the mouse now, clicking on all the things on screen, so I'm not having to trigger them, because my arm can now control everything without the same, like I said, it's like a 60% pain reduction, which is great. Right, let's get back into this live stream, and I mean, it's 20 to 1 here in the morning already, so what I'm going to do is probably call an end to the poll. It looks like it just disappeared off the screen, but it looks like it might be Power of Love that we're looking at tonight. And it is about to go through. Power of Love, 57% of the vote and 296 votes tonight. Thank you guys for voting on tonight's cover, and you guys over on Patreon for requesting it in the first place, or requesting those two in the first place. I think You Know My Name was in the last live stream, so I kind of kept that one on there just to see if it could be chosen. I know that a lot of people requested that in the last live stream, but it is going to be Power of Love tonight. So we are going to be jumping into that. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll see you in a second. Rock! The And there we have it. A sudden ending to that video, but that's just me pressing the button probably a bit too quickly. Thank you guys for voting for, Power of Love for me. It just takes me back to the Future. So it takes me back to the Future, but just a great soundtrack, and I think that was in the background of the video anyway, along with the Johnny B. Good video that I did from Back to the Future as well. As you can probably tell, I'm a big fan of the Back to the Future movie franchise. But anyway, thank you for voting for that one tonight, and for you guys just requesting it over on Patreon. It does help me out a lot to have a couple of covers that I can choose between rather than choose to put up on screen, and that you can choose between rather than me having to choose between them, because I just can never make a decision. So let me just jump into the PayPal window and let me get that up on screen, because we had that donation from Julie, so thank you for that. And we had another one that came in from Harvest Grove Designs, who donated £14.52. So thank you for that. And the message is, keep up the great work. So I will try my best, but thank you for that donation and all of your support during this live stream, the other live streams, and just the channel in general, for subscribing as well. It is massively appreciated. Karen has donated £3.63. Thank you for that, Karen. And the message is, hi Phil, for the past week, Chipper has shown a preference to watching your past live streams over cockatiels in their habitat while I'm at work. He'd started screeching a lot, so I think he figured out that he wasn't part of the flock. Thanks for providing this happy place. Cheers, Karen and Chipper. So thank you for that, Karen. A bit of an update there as to how Chipper's getting on. Obviously has exquisite taste tuning into the live streams. But thank you, Joan, as well, who has donated £100. Thank you, Joan, for that very kind donation. The message is, wow, every time I check your channel, the number of subscribers has increased. Congratulations. Here's something for the Hard Drive Fund. So thank you for that, Joan. And yes, the subscriber number does seem to be increasing a little bit. It's kind of going up quite a lot, and then slows down a little bit, and then goes up quite a lot as well. But I think it's good to have a little bit of downtime so that I can actually catch up with everything that's happened while things have been really busy. So yeah, it has been really busy recently on the channel, but it's great to make hay while the sun shines, as they say. So I will continue to do that, and thank you guys for tuning in. But Joan, for that very kind donation. And Ruth has donated £10.91. Thank you for that, Ruth. The message is, love your vids, Phil. Best wishes from Oz. So thank you for that, Ruth. And I hope everything's good over in Oz at the moment. Is it hot? It's pretty much record temperatures, I think. Well, when you compare it with the UK, here we're getting pretty cold. I think they said it was going to be mild, but it's still about 6 degrees or less at night, which is pretty cold. So yeah, but anyway, thank you for that, Ruth. And Carla has donated £6 as well. Thank you for that, Carla. And it is a straight up donation. So let me just have a look, because Sue has donated £15. Again, thank you for that, Sue. And the message is, so happy to hear you have some answers about your arm. Yes, it's great to have somebody, well, first of all, say that, he didn't know that I had the trapped nerve thing. That's something I just figured out for myself because of what happened. And that was literally 5 minutes after I spoke with the physiotherapist. So it's at least, showed me that all of the pain wasn't to do with what I thought it was to do with. But great as well that now I've got some exercises. I've got, the gel that I can put on there, and pretty much it's good that I can follow a plan and see how it goes over the next week or 2 weeks, because hopefully, fingers crossed, it's just going to improve. But we will see. Patty has donated £7.26. Thank you for that, Patty, and that is a straight up donation. So we're up to date with the donations in that PayPal window. Thank you guys for all of those. It just allows me to keep on pushing forward with the channel. And, you know, as was mentioned about having a hard drive fund, just all of these things that, yeah, I fill up hard drives very quickly, so it's much appreciated that I can just keep on having space to do another video and then another video and then another video. So thank you for all of your support during these live streams, but over on Patreon as well. I always say it's the foundation of everything that I do. If YouTube ceased to be, I would be over on Patreon doing exactly what I'm doing here. So thank you for all of your support just collectively, and to interact with you guys in this live setting is great. To be able to see your usernames in this live chat room, and yeah, sometimes I can have a little look in there and see some of the comments going on, and sometimes when you tag my channel name Wings of Pegasus, then I can see that stand out a little bit more as well. So it's great to have this in conjunction with the analysis videos, which are obviously more offline when I'm reading all of those comments, but I do read all of the comments and I mark them all as well, just to show you that I have read it. Right, 10 to 1 here in the morning, so we'll keep things as organized as possible. We have some pictures to get through, and then the book roulette and the pick roulette, and then if we are landing on a t-shirt roulette, we'll have that as well. Just quickly into the super chat window, we've had a donation that came in from Jennifer again. So thank you for this, a $10 donation and a $10 donation too, that said the same thing. So thank you for that, Jennifer. Let me know if that was a mistake, but it says, Phil, get well soon. Had an ulnar nerve problem years ago, and not being able to play was a pain. Yes, I mean, I can appreciate that. The thing about nerve pain is definitely a proper pain. I remember I was once in my car and I just played football and I was putting on my seatbelt and I reached behind me, not with this arm as you should probably do, but I came up with a weird kind of elbow type reaching back motion with my other arm, and I trapped a nerve in my shoulder. And yeah, that was, I mean, the things, about nerves is it's proper pain. When and there's nothing that you just have to accept that is the pain and you can't do anything about it. So obviously I put my arm back into its natural position, but I'd say that it lasted for maybe 5 to 10 seconds of just this constant, obviously whatever I'd done was properly trap a nerve in my shoulder. And yeah, I mean, that is, proper pain. So the people that have got constant pain, I definitely empathize with that, just having this, that in my shoulder, but this in my arm for kind of, 3 weeks or so. It's, not a fun place to be. But thank you for that, Jennifer. Diane has donated $10 as well. Thank you for that, Diane. It's a straight up donation. Orlando donated $2 and says, the members of your band look exactly like you, with a shocked face. So thank you for that, Orlando. It would make things a lot easier for me if I had either a twin or a couple of twins, or whether we were triplets or quadruplets, and that you had a whole band, because it would mean that we could alternate. So it means that you might have me doing something on a Saturday, and then tomorrow one of my brothers would do it. On Monday the other brother would do it. On Tuesday one of the other brothers would do a live stream, and then maybe I'd do a video on Wednesday. So it would mean that I'd get 4 days off. But because it's me and I do everything, it means that every day is a Phil day. I don't get to rotate, or I can't, unfortunately, delegate the answering of the emails to my other brothers or band members. It's all me in charge of everything and doing everything for myself. But, I mean, there's advantages to that in that I just get to control everything and don't put anything out that I don't agree with or I think don't represent me as an artist and all that kind of stuff. I can make sure that, somebody's not going to put out something inappropriate, for example, on the channel. You can say, what are you doing posting that on the music channel? It's nothing to do with music and it's inappropriate. It's actually good to be in charge of everything. There are plenty of advantages of it. The only disadvantage is, yeah, it is just full on 24/7, 365. But anyway, as you will know with the Christmas Eve live streams and the New Year's Eve, but to be fair, Christmas Day, I think that was, I mean, it wasn't a day off because it was an admin day, and the same for New Year. Yeah, so I was still doing stuff on Christmas Day and New Year's Day with emails and comments and all that kind of stuff. Because you can't afford to, I think, take a day off. It means that I'm now I'm 24 hours behind the messages. And I have to stay up to date every day. By the time I go to bed, I have to get all the messages done for that day. So then I can just keep on functioning. Because you can imagine, trying to do 24 hours worth of messages or 48 hours worth of messages in 24 hours, that doesn't work. Because then the next day is going to overlap and you're never going to catch up. So, yeah. This is it. But as I say, I'd rather do it like this to make sure that I'm in control of everything. So thank you for that, Orlando. And Cloud9 Therapeutics has donated $5. Again, thank you for that. And this is the guy doing his workout saying, keep it up. I think it's going to be a long time before I'm back to lifting weights. The furthest that I'm going with my arm, or at least on the exercises that I've been given, which I've done once, but I think I'm going to do maybe every other day or just Monday, Wednesday, Friday, because I think it's maybe a little bit too much, is like holding an elastic band and with, outstretched arms, just taking this arm and just pulling it just ever so slightly and then going back and then pulling it ever so slightly. So that's what is the final exercise. But I think that's a little bit, even though it looks like nothing with, an elastic band that doesn't really have any resistance, I think at the moment it is still a little bit hardcore for my arm at the moment. It's still just recovering. But with enough rest and just moving it, keeping it going and being able to hold it down by my side, which is great. Again, just being able to do this is like a revelation because I'm so used to the pain about to kick in. I think maybe if somebody else has had the problem, you'll know what I mean, that you're expecting when you get past a particular angle for pain to kick in. So when it doesn't, it's like, oh wow, that's amazing. I can actually move my arm. But anyway, thank you for thank you for that. I'm just gonna have to scroll up because I think a few have just come in while I was looking at the guy doing the workout. And yeah, Stan donated $5 as well. Thank you for that, Stan. The message is, glad you gave Shirley Bassey a righteous analysis. Her voice always sent shivers down my spine. So thank you for that, Stan. And I mean, yeah, that performance was just on a different level. I know that a lot of people say that your voice, degenerates over time, and that is true. You will lose range, but I mean, Shirley's just a shining example of what you can achieve if you look after yourself and you just keep your voice in shape. It's like a muscle. You just got to keep on exercising it. And yeah, she's still got exactly the same voice that she had 51 years ago, which is crazy. But thank you for that, Stan. Cloud9 Therapeutics has donated $10 again. Thank you for that. The message is, cheers to the one-man band. Keep on, with a smiley face. So thank you for that. Lauren has donated $20 and says, woot. With the hand controller that's like a Nintendo controller. So thank you for that, Lauren. And Mike has donated $5 as well. Thank you for that, Mike. And the message is, gotta get more gigabytes. And thank you for that, Mike. And terabytes. I think sometimes is more the case. Just filling up hard drives so quickly. This is it that you can get. I generally go for a 2 terabyte external hard drive, but the most recent one, I've actually got one there, and I know that it's actually sitting on top. I've literally got, and I don't know whether, I mean, this is just a sign of the times, I've literally got a 2 terabyte hard drive sitting on top of a 4 terabyte hard drive. So, and I know that in my cupboard, I think I've got, I don't know, maybe 8 or 10, maybe more of similar hard drives that are just previous analysis videos and raw footage and compressed files and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's something you have to keep on top of your gigabytes, and literally I've got one on top of the next here. But anyway, thank you for that, Mike. So we are going to be jumping into the, oh wow, on the clock, it's just changed to 2. Maybe if you've noticed in the top left-hand side of the screen, it's now changed to 2 a.m. So I've lost the hour. I am instantly now in the future, which means I should have finished this live stream 45 minutes ago, and I'm now going to be really up against it before getting to bed. So, right, I'm going to just run on as long as I normally do. So we'll go on till 2:15 here in the morning, which means let's jump into the pictures, and I have to keep really organized now to make sure that everything doesn't go awry with my schedule. So let me get the background up on screen. First of all, we're going to be taking a look at Vince. And Vince has his Wings of Pegasus t-shirt on, so thank you for this. You might not recognize Vince from this kind of distance, but we can see that he's about to be grabbed by the Incredible Hulk, or just Hulk, whatever you want to call him. In the UK, actually, I think this was an American show that was called The Incredible Hulk, and it had Louis Ferrigno, I think his name was, a bodybuilder who played the part of Hulk, and he was like 6'5", something like this, and he was originally bodybuilder. I don't think he won Mr. Universe, but I think he should have won Mr. Universe, but he didn't win. Was it Mr. Olympia? But he did win Mr. Universe. I can't remember. But anyway, there's one of those that I think he probably should have won. I think the Mr. Universe was maybe the winners of the Olympia, and then they all found the best of the best. I can't remember. Maybe Orlando is our resident fitness correspondent for the live chat room. So maybe Orlando knows if he's still in there, in order to let us know whether the Olympia winners then battled it out for Mr. Universe, because I know that Lou Ferrigno was one of those that had won but then didn't win the other. Anyway, yes, I have been quite into bodybuilding, following all that kind of stuff when I was younger. I'd say more kind of the Arnold Schwarzenegger kind of era and all those kinds of guys, because I think when the drugs got involved, they all get a little bit big, like the Hulk that we can see in that picture. So thank you, Vince, for uploading that one. The other thing that you get is like bubble gut, I think it's called, where the bodybuilders' bellies look like they're pregnant because of the expansion. I'm not sure what that is, whether that's human growth hormone, like HGH, that causes that, but you could start to tell that they're using a particular drug because of the way that they look, and they were kind of bloated around the stomach. So anyway, which you didn't really get back in the day. Anyway, thank you, Vince, for that. Let me get back into the pictures and stop talking about bodybuilding. The next one, Diane, thank you for uploading this. And Diane was a pick roulette winner, so here is her picture. And here's her picture of a picture of some guy and the signed Wings of Pegasus pick. So congratulations on winning that pick, Diane. So let me get rid of that. And just finally, here we have Paul, who did say to me that he was going to go and give Emmy, and this is Emmy Sunshine, by the way, who I've done an analysis video on the channel somewhere, but she's a friend of the channel. She's got a Wings of Pegasus t-shirt, and I do wear her. Emmy Sunshine and the Rain is the name of the band. Check her out if you get a chance. Emmy Sunshine and the Rain. But I've got a couple of her t-shirts that I do wear, so they're in my regular t-shirts. I usually wear them. They just so happen to be on my admin days, that whatever the cycle that I've got of 7 shirts, Emmy's shirts are always on the admin days. But anyway, thank you for this, Paul, and for giving Emmy the Wings of Pegasus. What are they called? Tumblers. I always forget what a tumbler's called, because I never knew what a tumbler was until I had a Wings of Pegasus tumbler, which I use all the time now. So thank you for giving that to Emmy, Paul, and it's good to see you and Emmy back on the channel in picture format. So let me get rid of that. And if you guys want to get involved and upload any pictures, head to the Wings of Pegasus supporters group over on Facebook. You can join in with that group and upload the pictures of merchandise that you want to, and then I can show them on the live stream. So that's how they get here. And Vince and Carla link me to pictures and Vince does the pictures from the Facebook group. So, join in with that group if you do get a chance. Just type in Wings of Pegasus supporters in the search bar on Facebook. So, let's now jump into the... It's weird looking at 2:05 in the morning. We're now going to jump into the pick roulette for tonight. So, actually, it's going to be the book roulette first. We'll do that. So, we'll jump into... Even though the intro is going to be the pick roulette, you'll get the hang of it. We'll jump into it and I'll see you guys in a second. Rock! So here we go. Let's get the wheel up on screen, and there it is. Let me just see if I can move it up a bit to get it a bit more centralized. And actually, I might make it a bit smaller so that we can see it more clearly. This is getting a bit better. Right, let's move this across. It just makes the names a lot smaller on my screen, which is a bit of a pain. But right, I don't do a top tip on this, so we're going to just spin the wheel and see who is going to win the signed copy of Phil Palmer's Session Man book. So you have to be in it to win it. As I said, if you're not in the live chat room, then you can't let yourself be known to Carla, and you won't be able to receive the book. We can't send it off to you, but we are slowing down. I have to try and get closer to my screen to see who are we going to end on tonight. And is Carl Tom Dodge Challenger or Get Some J or Celeste? Is it getting that far? And it is! So, congratulations to Celeste, who has won the book tonight, the Session Man book, and that's Phil Palmer's signed copy that you will receive. So, Celeste, if you can let yourself be known to Carla in that live chat room, that would be much appreciated so that she can sort everything out with you and get your address. And then I send them from here, from the UK. So I'll be able to get on that to wrap it up, get down the post office and send that off to you. Commiserations to everybody else who didn't win tonight, but the good news is that we have another 2 books to give away, so that'll be on Tuesday night's live stream and then next Saturday's live stream. So it means that tonight you will be able to enter, after this pick roulette that we're about to have, you will be able to enter for next Saturday's book roulette as well. So let's now jump into the... there it is. I was waiting for that to change, but let me move this across so we can see it. The pick roulette, and if this is your first roulette, the darker segments are the t-shirts. So if we land on one of those, then we have the t-shirt roulette where somebody can go away with a custom-made Wings of Pegasus signed t-shirt. So let me do a top tip. Autumn Piper is going to be the top tip for tonight, so apologies for choosing you to maintain my 0% running streak that I'm on. So let's give the wheel a spin and see who is going to win. And this is for the signed Wings of Pegasus pick. You can see it in the middle of the screen. And still going a little bit too fast. Where's Autumn Piper? At some point I've got to pick the same winning name as the top tip. Is it going through? Oh, I can't see it anywhere, unfortunately. Right, we are slowing down. Anne is Samantha, it's DJ K, it's Robert M. Or is it Laurie Barnes? And it is Laurie. So, congratulations to you. You have won the signed Wings of Pegasus pick. So, let yourself be known to Carla in that live chat room. Commiserations everybody else, including Autumn Piper, but double your chances of winning by tuning in on a Tuesday night as well, because we have a pick roulette then, and we have the book roulette, we have the t-shirt roulette on the Tuesday night's live stream, 12 midnight Greenwich Mean Time. That's the same time as Saturday's live streams. We always do it at 12 midnight Greenwich Mean Time, so join in then. So, commiserations everybody else. I maintain my 0% record of picking the winner before we spin the wheel. Right, let's get rid of that, because now the entries are open for next week's book roulette, pick roulette, t-shirt roulette. So what I'm going to do is give you an example as to how to enter. We type, to begin with, pick, to try and remember what it was, and then tag Carla Murray in that comment. And then if you want to be entered into the book roulette as well, then type book after Carla's name. So it's going to be going through the live chat room soon. Look out for my post that has Wings of Pegasus, the channel name with the tick next to it, and then pick at Carla Murray and then book. So you can enter now. Entries are open. So if this is your first live stream, copy what everybody is about to do in the live chat room to have a chance to win next week. And obviously you have to tune in next week when the pick roulette is going on in order to claim your prize in that live chat room. So just have a look over there and start copying. It's just like at school. If you don't know what to do, just copy what everybody else is doing. Right, we are going to be jumping into, I think, probably another suggestion. I was just thinking in the back of my mind whether I could do a riff of the week. And the reason that I'm a little bit tentative about this is because it takes a little bit more setting up, and it might actually still be set up from the last time I did it. Right, what I'm going to do is just call out, or I'm going to call out into the live chat room a number between, or I'm going to call out for a number between 50 and 100, and just post that in the live chat room, and I'll look at a number, I will pick it, and then we'll have a riff of the week to see if you can name what the riff is, just for fun. You're not going to win anything by doing it, but there are 100 riffs that I have recorded previously that I used to do over on Patreon. Every Sunday we did a riff of the week, and we will see, and I will see if I can even do this. So I can see that Jennifer says 25, Sam says 72. Did I say a number between 50 and 100? So yeah, the 20s, 22. Unfortunately, they're not going to cut it. They have to be above 50 because you can only show at any one time on YouTube Studio 50 videos at a time, and there are 100 of them. So it's showing me between 100 and 50. So I'm going to randomly pick Mike. It's going through too quickly. Mike Blumenkrantz, who says 64. Right, so let me have a little look down the list to see. I've got to go quite far to find where 64 is, and there it is. So I'm going to click on it, and I might have to watch a video on my own video in order to get this to play. What? But let me just mute it so you guys don't have to hear it. So that's going off in the background is the video. Thankfully, because I have the option to skip, I do try and do that as much as possible so you guys don't have to watch so many adverts. So we have skipped past that. Now it's down to me to try and work out how I'm going to do this so that it shows up on screen. Right, let me get the screen capture option done, and that's almost worked, but it's the wrong size. This is now kind of the right size. This might work. Okay, I'm not sure whether if I now get this on screen, some of the live chat room will disappear. Let's have a look. I'm going to get the background up on screen, first of all, and it does disappear, which is annoying. Maybe I can just play the riff in front of my face. Because then we might be able to see it. Let me just see if I can get it in front of my face. But then we still lose the live chat room. So let me... Wow, this is really testing my ability as a live stream setup kind of thing. I'm going to try and see where the screen grab is. Right, it's got to be on the top layer. So let me scroll up a little bit. Did I put the screen grab right at the top? I should have done it right at the top of the screen. No, it's not at the top of the screen. So anyway, I don't want to obliterate the live chat room, so you guys can keep on typing I agree. It's actually quite good that I can stall the live stream while I'm trying to figure out how to do this. And oh, by the way, Mike, thank you for giving us the number 64, was it? And the donation that came in before. The FTM22 donated $10. So thank you for that. And the message is, in honor of the 10th week since I broke my left arm in a traumatic injury, today I started work on covering the Adam Lambert version of Believe. Thank you for aiding my recovery. So no problem. And great news about the recovery as well. I mean, I'm fortunate in that I've never broken a bone, but I know that broken bones can take between 2 to 3 months. So what would that? 8 to 12 weeks in order to heal, and then for you to get back on with doing things. The annoying thing about tendons is that they take so long. It's like sometimes 3 months, sometimes 6 months, sometimes 12 months to get back to how you were before. So a bit annoying, but anyway, let me just quickly, I'm just having a look to see if anybody's typed I agree, because I can obliterate the screen while trying to, or obliterate my own face while trying to find where this is. Oh, I found it. Okay, right, that's there. So what if I try and make this really, oh no, if I make it big, if I make it smaller, I can try and squeeze it in at the bottom of the screen. Look at this. And it almost fits perfectly, maybe. Right, I'm just going to leave it there. So we're going to have the riff of the week hopefully playing on the same screen, and you'll be able to hear it. So let's jump into this, and I'm going to watch it. It probably looks like I'm actually looking at it on the screen. Let's play it and see what it is. It's a beginner difficulty, and I've muted it because of the advert. So let's we might need to hear that first part, so let's try it again. And there we have it. What are the chances of that out of 100 riffs? Mike said number 64, and it's the actual riff from the cover that was requested on Patreon and then voted for on the same live stream and came out as the winner. That's amazing. So, I think you guys probably know the riff because we've literally just watched my cover version of the song. So, yes, correct. We got Gene going through saying Power of Love. Mike says Huey Lewis. Laura Lee as well. Power of Love. Teresa. Power of Love. So, amazing. What are the chances? That's just ridiculous out of 100 riffs. So, it did work eventually, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tweak the position of this live so that it's literally between, because it looks like almost I've done this on purpose, but this is really me effectively busking the live stream, trying to get the video up on screen. But in the future, now that I know that I can put it on the same screen, we can maybe go to a riff of the week that we can all watch together and try and I mean, sometimes I'll probably even not be able to tell what the riff is because there's so many of them, but we will have a collective guess as to what the riff is. So, Huey Lewis and the News, Power of Love was tonight's riff. Let me now see if I can get this off the screen. And there we go. So, final call for any I agrees, because we are calling things to a close. We're going to have to do this unfortunately imminently because of the fact that the clocks have changed. It's now almost 20 past 2 in the morning here in the UK, so I really have to push on with everything that I need to get done before I get to bed tonight. So thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. Real last chance for the live chat room to enter in, type I agree, tag Carla Murray's name, but we are going to be calling it to a close. I will keep an eye out just for anybody that does type so that we can just have a final go through. And, oh, by the way, Orlando donated in the PayPal window. Let me just quickly reference this. £1.45. Thank you for that, Orlando. And Lou Ferrigno did win the IFBB Mr. Universe. It qualified him to compete in the Mr. Olympia, the highest level of pro bodybuilding. He competed in the Mr. Olympia twice, but never won because of Arnold Schwarzenegger. After finishing third in the Olympia in 1975, he was offered the role of the Incredible Hulk. He would not compete in bodybuilding again until 1994 in the now defunct Masters Olympia. Now you know, with a smiley face. So thank you for all of that information, Orlando. We do now know. And I believe from memory that Arnold Schwarzenegger started doing movies and had I don't know how many years, maybe a few years off from bodybuilding. And then he started training again. And I don't know whether this is Mr. Universe or Mr. Olympia, but he won as well. And I think from memory, the main debate that was about him winning was his legs. That his legs were actually quite underdeveloped. When you look at it, they weren't anywhere near what he did when he was younger in his earlier career. So that was the contention there, that I think he still beat Lou if Lou was in that competition. But Arnold, certainly didn't have the lower half physique that he did previously, but I mean upper half, he was just amazingly proportioned. And I do much prefer the old school bodybuilding, and without the whole bubble gut thing going on. But I was just interested in it, especially because it was something that I started weight training at probably 13 or 14 years of age. So it certainly took an interest in it, but not as far as getting into steroids and that kind of stuff. I was just quite happy with reaching my physical limitations, whatever those were. And I found that, once I got to that limit of muscle mass on my own body, for me, aesthetically, it looked fine. I didn't really feel the need to get any bigger than I could do naturally. So I think a lot of people can put on a decent amount of muscle mass if you approach it the right way. If you eat enough protein, cut as much fat out of your diet as you can get quite a good physique. But obviously a lot of people, like one of my friends at university, he said, you know me, I just like to cheat or take the easy route. So he started doing steroids and then got kind of really big down the gym, whereas I was just training as I did naturally. But anyway, each to their own. Whatever you want to do, it's your choice. Thank you, Orlando, for this. And for all of that information. We are going to be calling things to a close now. And as we know from the picture of Orlando is no stranger to the gym as well. So thank you for all of that information. We are going to be calling things to a close. And I've just seen that Celeste has said, please sign the book too. Love your show. So thank you for that, Celeste. And I will do that. I will sign it. And by the way, if anybody wins the book in the future, make sure you let me know, or let Carla know that you want me to sign it, because it's Phil's book. I won't automatically sign it. If that's something that you want me to do, then I can do, of course. So thank you for that, Celeste. Right, we are going to be calling things to a close now. I'm just going to wait for Kay's comment to go through, saying I agree, Carla Murray and book. So that actually Nightshade 1161 has just typed it as well. I want to make sure that that's going to be the final entry, I think, before we call things to a close tonight. So thank you guys for joining me. I'll be here again tomorrow night with another analysis video. I'll be live streaming Tuesday night, 12 midnight Greenwich Mean Time as always, and then analysis video Wednesday and Friday. Just the same routine, the same schedule as always. I'll keep you guys in the loop. Actually, next Friday, it depends how the chat with Chris goes. Chris Lipe, who I mentioned, the vocal coach, I'm talking to him on Thursday. We're going to do a video, just have a chat about vocals and all things music. So I'll see what happens then. I'll actually keep you guys in the loop, because that's going to be a special video, like the... And not that Chris can join me here because he's over in the USA, but like the Phil Palmer interview, it's going to be one of those kind of videos where we're just kind of chatting about music. So I'll let you guys know when that's going to be up and running over on Patreon, and I'll keep you guys updated. But I will see you guys tomorrow night or at the live stream on Tuesday night. Have a great rest of the weekend. It's Mother's Day here tomorrow, so I will be at a Mother's Day meal with my mum and my sister and my nephews and obviously my brother-in-law and my dad. So it's all kicking off tomorrow, but I will be releasing a video tomorrow night. So yes, it's going to be a bit hectic, but I will get there. I'll see you guys tomorrow night and live on Tuesday night. So like I said, have a great rest of the weekend. Stay safe and just do everything you can to, I think, keep sane as well in the current world that we live in, because so many crazy things going on at the moment. But stay safe, have a great weekend, and I'll catch you guys at the next one. Rock!